Hi, and welcome to today's reading. My name is Angelina. I am the proprietor of Your Authenticity Witch. I do readings, tarot readings. I also offer tarot on Etsy. Today's tarot is going to be something a little different. I've been doing general readings the last few days. And today is going to be how to heal the relationship with my mother. So they're going to be a little more complex, a little more personal, a little more specific. For pile number 1, I have ryolite. For pile number 2, I have ocean jasper. And for pile number 3, I have malachite. So go ahead and pick your pile and meet me there. I will be there delivering your tarot reading, and I look forward to seeing you there. And if you like this video, if you get something good out of it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know, please, what you got out of the video. That would be very helpful for me, and I much appreciate it. And I will see you there, pile number 1, 2, or 3. Hello, and welcome to pile number 1. Pile number 1 is the crystal ryolite. Let's get into it. So we have the 4 of Swords, the 8 of Pentacles, the Hermit, the King of Swords, the 3 of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Mother of Wands. Now, just as a side note, what I really appreciate about this deck is the imagery of the cards, because it speaks to another level if you're paying attention. So the Mother of Wands, the Queen of Wands typically is about confidence, growing independence, courage, determination, and being somewhat of a social butterfly. I think it's interesting in this reading that we both got a king and a queen, because I actually do feel like this plays as the parental role in this reading. So while the Queen of Wands is typically a good card, what I'm actually seeing here, my initial thought, was clutching, clinging, strangulation, being kept too tight. Somebody that had a hard time letting go and letting it be, to allow their children to develop their own personality and flourish without being sort of like a helicopter parent. And in spite of those things, this person, for pile number 1, has actually been able to grow a deeper, more thoughtful personality than what you would typically see for somebody who is helicoptered around. Does that make sense? Because what it feels like is there was a period of introspection in the childhood where you, pile number 1, were sort of separated from a deep connection with this mother figure, and there was a lot of self-reliance and personal understanding that had to be developed, because there wasn't the natural encouragement and development of your personality and your skills and your emotional intelligence and all of those things, which is where I'm seeing the Hermit card come in. The King of Wands, of course, is about leadership and authority and intellectual pursuits and knowledge and understanding. And so what it feels like to me is that we had one parental figure who was very like worrisome and clutching and claustrophobic when it came to watching over this child. And then we had another person who was super duper logical, did not show emotion, almost sort of robotic, but also like a very watchful eye, in that recognition that what this mother figure is doing was not the best for the development of a stable personality, but also quietly encouraging how to develop yourself when this mother figure isn't really being a helicopter. So it seems like there has been a bond between you and this father figure, more than a bond between you and this mother figure. And now that you're older, this feels like somebody who's like in the time of trying to figure out if their parents even play a role in their lives. So like 29 to 35 maybe. There has been the space for introspection, the digestion of memories, the understanding of why the parental figure act this way. So like the potentiality of an upbringing that made this person really nervous and really afraid for their own safety, and so that was transferred onto you. And it feels like that is like understood, and there's a level of forgiveness that has like washed over you where there may have previously been animosity. When it comes to the Three of Cups card, I feel like there's the potential for rebuilding and connecting and using the avenue of the siblings to bring family unity to what once felt very disjointed. It isn't like the mother figure is, specifically an outcast or unable to form relationships, but the need for control in order for this person to feel safe has really alienated in a way the ability to be transparent and truthful about what the siblings and what you yourself have been experiencing in your life, whether that be intellectually, emotionally, in your career, in your relationships, because there is that fear from your mother figure, and there is the potentiality that the judgment that you receive from her, even though she's being really helpful in her eyes, really prevents you from feeling like your own person. However, the success of moving forward and completing a cycle, transferring, moving, rotating, completing a karmic cycle, and the way that you are tied to this person is important because you two are linked, not only because they gave birth to you, but because you two came here together. Y'all chose this shit. And there's something that both of you can learn from one another, and that teaching aspect is what can help heal the trauma, not only that you've inherited from the way that she raised you, but also that she inherited from the way that she has been raised and the way that other women in your lineage have been raised. So it is about this level of not only self-reflection, but I think encouraging this maternal figure to seek out self-reflection in a therapeutic setting, potentially, that would allow them to build inner clarity and understand the different aspects of themselves that make their personality what it is today. Something that would allow them to see how their personality and how their memories and how their own traumas went into forming your life. And by your life, I mean your upbringing and therefore the way you turned out. When that clarity is brought into the life of this maternal figure, it will open up the conversation that y'all need to have in order to start bridging the gap where you have felt like an outsider because you've had to station yourself as an outsider in order to not have her helicoptering, scrutinizing personality. And it will be highly beneficial and give you the ability to see the humanity in your mother that you've always wanted to see, because you have felt like there is something missing from the depths of her. And it is because the helicoptering, the scrutinizing, the control has kept her at bay from accessing her true emotions and the way that she wants to live life to the fullest. And now there's a potential that this woman is like 55, 60 years old, and she has been living with these high nerves for so long that it's just like nervous system on red alert, right? And we need to help her flip that switch into a state of like awareness and presence and calmness, because without flipping that switch, I feel like just like the wear and tear on the nervous system will be so great that it will impact her health. And if I'm right about the ages of each one of you, you're both around the time in which somebody is going through a Saturn return or just had a Saturn return, and those are used to really deal with intellectual and emotional issues in the personality that are preventing you from experiencing life to the fullest and connecting on a very human level. I do see truly that this is something that can be worked out, and that there is a potentiality when it is worked out that it will bring an incredible amount of unity and warmth between you and your siblings and your parents. And that even though I feel like your father has been in the background of this, witnessing this and living his life sort of on the periphery of this person, it will allow him to jump in and remember, I guess, in a way, what it used to be like between all of you. Because I don't think that this mother figure has always been this way, but that things slowly got worse over time, and it's almost developed into like an anxiety disorder or some sort of undiagnosed disorder that is contributing to the way that she behaves in the family unit. And this is why I am suggesting the therapeutic setting and the ability to go within in a really non-judgmental way. I think that in regard to the story that we're building here, this Eight of Pentacles is really talking about the growth potential and the exponential growth potential of putting in the work to repair the relationship and to understand what boundaries are and develop clear communication and develop a relationship with the emphasis of seeing each other's humanity, where emotions are cherished and the understanding of the two of you as humans will finally come into view so clearly, a veil will be stripped, and there will be no reason whatsoever to hide behind and pretend to feel secure behind the frivolities of controlling somebody's life and passing down judgment. Because the melding of the personalities that will go on in your mother will knock her out of this fake version of herself. And the work that you've been doing secretly, silently, on the periphery, healing yourself from the damage that was done by being involved with someone who was so exacting and involved in your life in every single decision and level, will allow you to also lift a veil. And it's like you all will be seeing each other and recognizing each other and understanding each other for the true essence of who you are, not the skin suit that you're wearing. It will be a revelation. It will be utterly transformative, like a fucking earthquake. Just dynamic and rippling, like a light going off. That will shine through that will shine through the whole family and create an unknown unity. It's wild. When I started this reading, I had no idea I would say any of this. And you don't know what you're going to say, but holy hell. And I think what's important here is the way in which the many aspects of light and the sun shows up in these cards, right? The hermit figure, this classical person who goes off on their own quest to understand and revel in who they are and who they want to become and develop that inner knowing and security, is a light, is an intuitive light, is a light of clarity, is a light of direction and knowing and understanding. And the same can be said for where this lamb is with the light on his head, and the same sort of knowing as demonstrated by, again, quiet reflection and developing an inner knowing. And these different swords being different aspects of all of the minds that are at play in the healing of this relationship. It will be dynamic, but I really feel like, and I use this example in my last reading, but when I spoke about Excalibur and little Arthur in the sword in the stone, Disney version obviously, when he takes the sword out, instead of the sword being taken out, it will be like being able to blindly take the swords and thrust them into the stone in the exact spot that they were meant to be without any resistance. Because there is a lot of resistance now. And this father figure has sort of been like a gatekeeper for wisdom and knowledge and like unseen unity that has sort of been like stringing together the story of the family and keeping the peace and like using his emotional intelligence, which isn't really seen in that way as emotional intelligence, but instead mental clarity and logical aptitude, and keeping things together, working like a well-oiled machine, picking up the pieces that have fallen by the wayside because of the way in which this disharmony in the maternal figure's mind has caused them to be so hands-off but so hands-on at the same time. Sincerely. Wild. There will be so much joy when things are put together and clear and understood, that I really urge you to take the leap and start working on this today. It's still retrograde right now if I put this up before April 3rd, which I probably will. And there is a potential to start working on this communication now because it's probably in your mind. You've probably been thinking about it. So let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let's see what spirits are guiding this. We have Leo. We have Kratom. We have Cacao. We have the Black Panther. And we have a goddess whose name is Benzaiten. So they want me to start with Cacao. This is from the Spirit Allies deck. And Cacao is number 27. The prompt for this is, I am free to enjoy life's luxuries. And the question for this is, how can I work more simple pleasures into daily life? Okay, before I even start, this is in regard to the lack of authenticity behind the hobbies, the hobbies and goals that your adolescents had, right? And now with the development of yourself as a much older person, the recognition that those things were fabricated based on your mother's needs for control and decision rather than what you would have wanted. So even though Cacao has a royal history, not all of life's pleasures need to be pricey. This plant is a reminder of how even the simplest moments can offer morsels of lavish and luxury. A night spent at home bundled up with a steaming cup of hot cocoa and your favorite book is sometimes even more enjoyable than spending your night in a dimly lit restaurant. Invite these sweet moments into your life, or better yet, find excuses to make them a priority. You live in this lifetime once. Have dessert first. So that was about cacao. Next, we're going to be looking at this goddess, Benzaiten. I hope I'm saying your name right, dear. Excuse me, she looks like this. Her phrase is, I embrace my creativity. Yeah. And her journal prompt is, what kind of art would feel good to create? This is just the cacao. But the other side, right? You're being invited by this divine goddess to create and embrace your inner artist. Embrace whatever form this may take, whether it's fun and playful or as a larger pursuit. Make space to enjoy the experience of creating art without attachment to the outcome of your creative work. There's a tremendous opportunity for creating positive change through spreading your message and unique gifts in artistic form. As you gain comfort and confidence in your artistic expression, use your creativity as a way to innovate and share something special with others. You never know who you may reach with this unique expression of your gifts. Additionally, there's a potential that this is the level of communication, the way in which a bridge can be formed between you and your mother, meaning that this could be something that she has been starved for and hasn't been able to release in herself, and your ability to meet her at that level, join her in a space of camaraderie and a lack of judgment, and just being present and embracing imperfection, which will be so hard for this person to embody, will be, in my opinion, as the oracle here, a big key to the success of healing the relationship, your communication, and allowing both of your inner childs to meet in the present moment through your actions as adults. Damn. That's so nice. Okay. So the Black Panther. Okay. The Black Panther. I am protected is his little mantra. The prompt is, what signs have I seen recently, and what do these mean to me? The Black Panther is a powerful symbol of spiritual rebirth. If you have found yourself looking through the depths of your emotions and seeking psychic guidance, then the Black Panther is a sign that the universe has been listening. The Black Panther is a guardian like no other, and in this stage of your journey, know that you are divinely protected. Connected to the dark moon, Black Panther also represents your ability to travel through the darkness and find the light. Tap into your inner power and know that you can uncover your dream reality. Release any uncertainty to the universe and move forward, knowing that your own power alone is a force to be reckoned with. It really is truly such an ability to link worlds. This dystopian reality where your family where your family is unable to link together, create good dynamics and conversations, where the holidays are just a little bit weird, where there's some dread surrounding the things that are going on, and then movement into bringing that darkness into the light. And I honestly, even though this is about the melding of the personalities for your mother into this whole being, this emphasis on your ability to bring things to light is also part of what will be done. The role of a peacemaker but just through demonstration, rather than by like talking. Do you know what I mean? I hope you do, because I'm not here to talk to you in person. Okay. So next we're going to do Kratom. And his little mantra is, I surrender all burdens. And the journal prompt is, what am I holding on to that only holds me back? Take a moment to ask yourself what you are trying to avoid or ignore that you know in your heart is a problem. With Kratom comes the acknowledgement and awareness of what we try to set aside, as its energy provides the lift off of suffering. In turn, it brings you clarity to see the root of your challenge. As uncomfortable as it may be, it's always to your benefit to do whatever is necessary to conquer your shadows and the blockages hidden within them. Let your tensions rise up to be nurtured and healed. Yes. So, just piggybacking on what I said, the ability to transmute and also the work that you've done is going to go into the work that you're going to be doing. It's just like copy and pasting what you've done into what you're doing and what you're doing into what you've done, and sort of creating that feedback loop. And also with the ability to let go and forgive and understand and process, that is also allowing you to be lighter and lighter, right? And allowing more also of that transmutation from dark to light. Again, creating that feedback loop. So lastly, we have Leo, and the mantra for Leo is, I want to create the life I want to live. Yeah, you do. I know you do. And the journal prompt is, what does my ideal life look like? Leo is the daring member that you can create, is the daring reminder that you can create your own experience in this lifetime. Leo is a leader, giving you permission to lead in your own way. You deserve the life that you've been dreaming of. The universe is rooting for and believes in you. You just have to believe in yourself. Manifesting the reality you want is creating it. Each day, imagine yourself living your best life. Take note of what you taste, smell, and how you feel at that moment. Picture your surroundings with clear details. Let this manifestation practice work its magic as you experience the life you want to be living by holding the frequency of it in this present moment. That's really beautiful. And I think you can get there. I think you can really do it, pile number one. This journey is really beautiful, and I'm really excited for you. In regard to what we just read about Leo, not only is it manifesting the life you want to live through the healing and dedicated action that you're going to be taking, but also the way in which you would idealize the relationship between you and your family and your mother healing itself, and what you picture you'd like your family to look like because of that work. I think that will go a long way in creating space for you to dream and create that, again, turning darkness into light, which I think is like the overall theme of this one. This lamb is just cute as shit. Okay. That's all I have for you, pile number one. Please, oh my gosh, if this resonated with you, please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Really appreciate you sticking around. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm here. Come back for the next one. I'll see you next time. Peace. All right. Hi, pile number two. I've just been sitting here staring at all these tarot cards, and I've had some ideas, and I guess in in looking at like 320 cards. I'm kidding. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 cards for you. And, the prompt is, how are we healing our relationship with our mother? And it's like, I don't even know if that's what we're doing. So, pile number 2. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Pile number 2 is, of course, this lovely ocean jasper. Yes, it's from the coast of Madagascar. Of course. Like, where else would it be from? Have you met me? Okay. So, this is quite a reading, and I'm excited to get into it. First and foremost, for some of you, I think you come from money, and it hasn't been a good thing for your personality. So, yeah, we'll get into it. I didn't mean for that to sound rude. We've got the 9 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, Temperance, Strength, a lot of major arcana. The Fool. I also have the Hierophant. I also have the World, which I think it's very significant for us to have the World and the Fool at once in a reading. Very crazy. I also have the 10 of Pentacles. I also have for you the Knight of Pentacles. And I also have for you the Knight of Wands. And I was sitting here debating about there being a set of brothers. Yeah, a set of brothers and or 2 different siblings. One as represented by the Knight of Wands and the other as represented by the Knight of whoever that was, Pentacles. 2 very different expressions, right? This Knight of Wands is passionate and inspired to act and an adventurer, someone who is excited and impulsive and sort of acts without thinking and warning. Somebody who is free-spirited, high energy, thrilling to be around. Someone who is both exhausting to be around but also has this incredible alluring energy, right? Someone who is bright, but in this case would be labeled as the black sheep of the family. Because I think this pile, at least for some of you, is indicated that you come from money. And money, like comfortable money. Money that has allowed you to have your whims and desires met to the extent that you will want for nothing if you allow yourself to want for nothing. The Knight of Pentacles, though, is, a very conservative individual, somebody who is concerned with working hard, being productive, following a routine, and that with work over time comes reward, and that the idea is to continue to work in order to obtain such a reward. And this is, I'm feeling like a very forced attitude. It's like a forced role, something that this character represented in this reading never really wanted. This is more like a mask that they wear and isn't actually the way in which they want to be represented in the family or in the world. So that is problematic for them because there's a crisis of, do I continue to fuck around with the role that's been laid out for me, or am I going to decide to be who I am inside, if I can borrow a phrase from Mulan. So I'm concerned that this rift that we're feeling is between the two characters represented as these knights, and that this is really what it means with how can I heal my relationship with my mother, meaning how can I decide to be who I am and also keep my relationship with my mother, because I don't feel I can have both. And up until this point, I have been allowing my mother to dictate my actions and my personality. And I am thinking of the way that Michael Bluth, for example, Michael Bluth, right? He gives his whole life to his family, and in the end, his dad chooses Lucille to become the CEO of the company because he's a fucking criminal, and yada yada yada. So then Michael has this crisis of faith and really leans hard into being with his family, and then time and time again, they can't be relied upon. They're terrible people, and it's not good for him, and it really keeps him in this state of arrested development, right? And so that's really without the humor, and I mean without the humor. That is really where this Knight of Pentacles person is. And the the Knight of Wands character is really this totally separate entity and is considered the black sheep of the family because the way in which they develop their personality, which is just like an extreme version of their already personality, but like when they're around the family, they dial it up to 11 just because they want the family to know, like, you didn't break me down. This is who I am. I am this person, and I will be this person despite the fact that we're affluent and you want me to act a specific way and be a specific way, you know, in order to like keep up with the Joneses, for lack of a better term. When it comes to this Ten of Pentacles, like, this is why I feel like there's inherent wealth here. Because in regard to the rest of the story that the cards tell, this would just shot out to me as there being money. And it has always been around, and it will always be around. But I think that with this Knight of Pentacles character, there is a fear that relinquishing the relationship with the mother person and or deciding to step down from being this idealized perfect child will mean that you no longer have access to that financial security. And I just don't think that's going to be the case, and I would like to think that you are secure on your own without the finances of your family. However, you may have intertwined yourself with them so dramatically that you are, I don't know, involved in like stocks and bonds, or you have a trust or something, or somebody is like looking after your money and like you don't have access to a particular amount of time, so you're just sort of like biding your time. There are like rules and regulations around this specific amount of money that is like it's a good thing, you know, because like in regard to having that financial security, right, you would want for nothing, but the cost of it is your own independent happiness. And so the question is, like, the thing that's plaguing you, the thing that's worrying you is like, do I have to pretend to be this version of myself in order to acquire this money, and is it worth it? And do I actually love my parents and want somebody like my mother in my life if she is just concerned about the way I look, and in reference to the money, how I look with the money? It's like controlling appearances and wanting to present a specific way, which is why I said keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like, there is a very specific appearance, having the newest, having the hottest. But even though this is like old money, old security, something that like is tied to the name of the family, like, I don't want to say that the money is cursed, but I do want to say that the relationship strain is what is making the money cursed. And the freedom that this other sibling has created by being this Wands character instead of this Pentacles character has given them the freedom that you have only longed to have. So I feel like you're going to be forced into making a decision on what it is you would really like to keep, and what it is costing you to keep one thing or the other, and if that is worth I wanted to get really dramatic and say your eternal soul. But what I mean is your enlightenment, your ability to be a person and think for yourself, how you want to move throughout the world, whether or not you want this sort of looming presence over you because of the way that all of these strings are tied to this financial security. And maybe for some of you, this is as simple as like, my parents still pay the rent, but also within that means that they also like pay my cell phone bill, and for some reason that means like there are all these rules and regulations to like, I don't know when I can use my phone and like what apps I'm allowed to download, you know, like something as silly as that. And for some of us it could be even larger than that, when it's like my parents give me an allowance, but they also told me like these are the only things that are allowed to be on the credit card statement, and anything else like I'll get in trouble for. But like, is that worth it to have these claws attached to you, right? Because in those ways it is claws, and you have to ask yourself is that really financial security, or is that financial security but control? Right? And is that control worth it to feel security if emotionally you're not secure, right? Because it's that emotional aspect. It's the emotional wounding of like the lack of trust and freedom that's tied to the money that's really causing an issue here. That's really causing a rift between the mother and this child, or the sibling dynamic, right? So the decision, right? The decision, the difference, the newness is going to come, I think, because you're just at a point in your life where frankly, like, you want something different, dude. Like, you want something different, and you're trying to search for a way to get it. Because I don't think it has become worth it for you anymore to continue to be invested in this way. And I feel like the recognition of that is really going to provide you with a sense of freedom. So the Hierophant, right, is about wisdom. the key to said wisdom, learning from somebody, getting an education, the development of knowledge. It can even be about religion or conforming to tradition, something about that. So potentially like a formal education, maybe some of you are graduating from college and like you have the capacity to earn your own money now, like you're going to be in marketing or like some sort of something that actually earns you money when you get out of college, you know what I'm saying? And that is going to be part of the key to freedom. And then for some of you, the other aspect of this is like actually recognizing that the key to freedom is that you need to break away from the strict rules and regulations that are involved with conforming to the way in which your relationship is being dictated by your mother because of the money. And I'm getting the impression that your mother isn't even a bad person. It's genuinely the money that's making it problematic. And that without the money, you two would be, I'm not going to say like hunky-dory, but chummy enough to where you could stand going over there on the holidays if that was your deal. You know what I mean? So I guess what I want to say is finding the key to personal freedom is a big part of healing your relationship between you and your mother. And I think that this also means a reliance and like a teaching moment or understanding between you and this sibling who's much more fiery and rebellious than you, because that could hold the key to releasing things that no longer serve you, which is you playing this archetype, this stereotype of a son or daughter, you know, who is inheriting wealth, who is inheriting a company, who is inheriting all of the rules and regulations that come along with that. And it just is not the establishment that you want to fuck with. So don't fuck with it. Like don't do it. I don't think you need to do it. Obviously, or else I wouldn't be saying it. Then we have the strength card still. We also have temperance still, which we haven't spoken about. We still have the 8 of swords, which we still haven't spoken about. And the fool and the world. So for me, temperance and strength here are going hand in hand. Because not only do you require strength in order to tap into this part of yourself to really, I guess, reveal to your mind's eye that you don't want this anymore. Like, there have been signs, like there's an inkling, but you haven't seen it. And like, what's interesting about, so like I had these stacked on top of each other over here on my bed, and like what's interesting about this is like these are both stormy days, and there's this lightning bolt behind this crow, and it is zapping this key, and it is like a message from on high, right? Zapping the key, zapping the crow into an understanding, into knowledge, into recognition. And it is the same energy that can be transferred from you from the crow to you in this jolt of lightning, in this jolt of knowing and recognizing. Because although the Hierophant is about like understanding, wisdom, having a mentor, potentially like going to college, meeting somebody who can like teach you. It could also be like a religious pursuit, right? It could be like a priest or like some sort of mentor or like sage or what is the word? It's literally escaping my mind. A guru. It can also be like yourself exploring things and using your mind as that guiding wisdom. And so like I'm really urging you to do this self-pursuit, because like things are bothering you and you need to get out of where you are, because there's a lot of different opinions and beliefs, and your mind and the people around you who are just shouting at you and preventing you from blooming. And I don't think it's emotionally safe for you to be in that space anymore. And I feel like you're not only looking for a way out, but looking for a way for someone to help you out of there. Like if you only asked, the path would reveal itself, because the path is there and it's waiting for you to ask in order to reveal itself. Does that make sense? I don't know, because you're not here for me to talk to, but I hope it does. So the strength, right, is knowing deeply in your heart and your mind's eye, in with courage and grace, that you have everything you need, and the force of the universe and this character as the wand's brother or sister to help you move forward. We're just waiting for you to get tapped in and take the action. The temperance, right, is about the balancing, I think, of these forces. The one that makes you both want to freeze and not take any action, and the one that makes you want to burn down the bridges that connect you to this person, i.e. your mother and the institution that is your wealth. So delicate action, of course, would be helpful, because then it would prevent you from making mistakes that don't need to be made. And this Juan's character is somebody who I fear is just like in it to shake things up for shit's sake. And potentially the two of you balance each other out in a way that you can both get what you want out of this circumstance, and together you can recreate the way in which this wealth has been in your life, the way in which it will be distributed, and how it will dictate your relationship. Because, I don't even know if the mother character here is actually a villain or a bully, but that it is just the creation of a life that wasn't for you. And that she's been taking your actions at face value, because surprisingly she's super down to earth. And because there hasn't been any objection from you, it has continued for far too long. And this Juan's character I know I said black sheep of the family earlier, but I just mean different for the sake of being different. Like, you know, when Rory goes to that meeting at that dude's house who's in like Harvard or Harvard adjacent, and she meets the older sister of those siblings who didn't go to college, but she's like having a fine time. She's like working jobs and having a good time, and she's like pretty cool. Like, that's what I mean when I say the black sheep of the family. Doing her own thing, still involved with the wealth, doesn't really care what it looks like to not be involved in the path that was assumed for them. And that's where I think we need to get you, because you haven't objected to it yet, and it's causing you a problem. It's causing you inner turmoil, and there's no reason to allow it to stand. When it comes to the Fool and the World, very interesting, because the Fool can be placed as the last card in the deck or the first card in the deck, because it can mean either or, right? Because it's about beginnings and it's about being a free spirit. What is interesting about that is that we're beginning new things and that this is ending things. So then the question is, well, what are we ending and what are we beginning? Okay, so I've been thinking about that the entire time that we've been talking here, pile number 2. And it seems like, ideally, what we're ending is is this bullshit tomfoolery that you've been playing at since you refuse to speak up and say what it is that you want. Unintentionally, you've been very meek, and you haven't been into being risky and taking new actions and viewing the world like a newborn and being excited to interact with the world and embracing possibilities and utilizing your inner child to gain insight. You know, like, there's so much nuance and play and passion and excitement and joy that you can get out of the world if you would only allow yourself to step into the abundance of being anybody other than the person you've been told to be. Does that make sense? I hope so. I believe that when we get to the end of the cycle for you, that it is the recognition that you are supposed to be somebody different. That you have the capacity to be someone different. That it is time for you to be someone different. And the best way to go about that is to decide that the time is now and take the action to do that. And once you're able to step into that, you will be able to blossom and bloom and become somebody that has abundance and wealth because they chose to have abundance and wealth, because they chose what it means to be abundant and wealthy, not because they've had the prescribed idea of what wealth is from their family on them. In regard to healing a relationship, I don't know if there's anything to heal, because it doesn't really feel like there's an issue with you and the mother figure in this reading. It just seems like she would be able to roll with the punches if you were able to be honest, and it will be an adjustment, but it will be a well-received conversation. And I feel like there might just be some regret on her end that it has taken you this long to decide that this isn't what you wanted. Do you know what I mean? Excuse me. So, I am making a bunch of noise. I apologize. I urge you to take the time to have this conversation. and to make the moves. I feel like the time is now. And that relinquishing your fear that this shit ain't gonna go right will be really helpful. Rely on that more rambunctious, rebellious sibling. Rely on that attitude. Rely on it and witness and understand that that is what it will take in order to get you going in the right direction for you to feel the most authentic, the most like yourself, the most stable, the most able to unify and be present and accepted by your family in a way that I think you've always been longing for, but you've been afraid to admit that you felt out of place. If anyone is the black sheep, it's you, actually, because you've allowed yourself to be represented in this false way. So you've got some work to do, is all that I will say after saying all that I said. So I pulled some oracle cards for you. We have Taurus, white buffalo, the stone angelite, the San Pedro cactus, and rabbits. They want me to start with the San Pedro cactus, which is number 36. And his little mantra is, I am stepping into my desired reality. The journal prompt is, how can you remind yourself of your personal power? The San Pedro cactus embodies the energy of the grandfather archetype and is all about empowerment and divine love. Let this serve as a reminder to you that no goal or dream is unreachable. When you tap into a confident, loving vibration and are willing to surrender your preconceived notions and limitations, you must first believe in yourself, and secondly, that your desired reality is possible. It's time to shift your perspective to see the truth and beauty that is always present. Everything is in divine order, even if it looks messy. You have the power to step into your ultimate reality, one that is truly playful, loving, joyous, and fun. I told you, dude. What you may not know is that it already exists. It's just waiting for you to choose it in this very moment. Smile. You've got this. Bruh, I told you. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do Angelite next. Angelite, number 14. The mantra for Angelite is, I am attuned to my third eye and psychic abilities. And the journal prompt is, how do I typically receive signs from my guides? This stone is calling you to connect with your third eye. Your guides have been trying to reach you, and connecting with your pineal gland will help you get their messages. If you aren't quite sure where or how to hear these messages, think of an easy to understand message that has been sent to you in the past. Bird feathers, repeating numbers, butterflies crossing your path. Those are all examples of the ways that your guides may have reached out to you previously. Keep your eyes open and create space for your guides to communicate with you. You will want to hear what they have to say. Okay, so maybe just some divine guidance, helping you feel secure in how you interact with the world and go about this journey. That seems cool, right? Loving that for you. So the white buffalo, his mantra is, I can manifest anything. And the journal prompt is, in what ways can I stay grounded in my manifestation practice? The white buffalo is a teacher of the importance of staying grounded when thinking of what you desire. While manifestation is a power that you hold, remember to focus on what will truly make you happy in this lifetime. White buffalo reminds you of your personal power when you are rooted in your beliefs and remain humble and appreciative for what has already been presented to you. There is so much available to you, but to remain worthy and aligned to receive those gifts is up to you and your spiritual practice. I'm wondering if there is something spiritual that you have been neglecting because of your focus on this money and the literal security of money instead of the security of enlightenment. And that could very well be the case. Okay, then we have rabbit, and this is going to be more spiritual enlightenment stuff. Abundance is coming to me. Dog, what is the deal? See, not only do you pile number 2 have an incredible amount of material security, there is emotional security and spiritual security. They're waiting for you to tap into it, and it has just been, neglected because this has been such an overarching problem in your life. The journal prompt is, what does abundance look like to you? Rabbit has hopped into your life to share that good luck and abundance is available to you. This does not just mean wealth, as there are many things that one could be abundant in. Health, happiness, and the wonders of nature are all possibilities for you. You simply need to believe that you are worthy of receiving good fortune. You will discover that through this belief, more will become available to you. So open your arms wide and welcome all this way. And lastly, we have Taurus. I am worthy of luxury, bruh. Are you hearing these cards right now? Are you hearing these cards? Are you hearing them? I guess so, because you're here with me. Journal prompt is, how can I cultivate more indulgent experiences? There is stability in taking time to slow down and break free from a fast-paced life. After all, the human experience is largely about being able to experience the world through the senses. Taurus is here to encourage you to indulge in your favorites, whether it's food, music, or movies. Your senses are tools that connect you with the rest of the world. Use this time to open yourself up to new things and adventures as well. Okay. The connection to, okay, so mind-body connection, spiritual connection that is built by having a good mind-body connection that will allow you to attune into your authenticity, what it means for you to be enlightened, what it means for you to understand. I know I pulled the Hierophant card for you, and I feel like this stuff about the abundance and the inner knowing and cultivating yourself and recognizing who you are through contact, through your intuition, through your senses, through developing an inner knowing. That is what that key is really unlocking for you when it comes to the Hierophant, and that being able to connect your authenticity will connect you to your abundance. And it's more than money. It's more than money. It's truth in relationships. It's truth in yourself. It's truth in the way that you exist in the world, the way that you're able to build yourself, the way that you're able to build your community, the way that you're able to exist in your family and how your family sees you. And it will build these levels of authenticity for you, things that you didn't have access to before because you were living this very one-dimensional life where the only aspect of security was money. And with these oracle cards all about what is your choice for abundance, what is your choice for your senses, what is your choice for love and life and desire, those are the things that you're missing that will help round out your true authentic self and make you the person that you've always hoped to be and give you the space in your family that you deserve to be taking up, that you want to be taking up. That is worth more than financial security could ever be worth. Mic drop. Okay, so, boy howdy. That's all I have for pile number 2. If you like this, please share the thing and like the thing and comment on the thing. Please tell me what you liked out of this video. If this resonated with you, I'd really like to hear from you. Thank you, please and thank you, appreciate it, goodbye, and happy day. Hello, and welcome to pile number 3 of the tarot reading in this video. Pile number 3 is malachite, and this one is quite interesting. I have the Empress, I have the Emperor, Death, the Nine of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. Now, I know that these readings are about how to repair a relationship with your mother. This one is weirdly about the father. Now, interestingly, we have the Emperor and the Empress, both of which embody the feminine or masculine version of ourselves, right? The Empress being abundance, beauty, nature, sensory exploration, love of the earth, abundance through that Earth Mother sort of archetype, intuition, the development of an idea, like literally the cycle of birth, right? Growing, abundance, birth of those things, as well as just being like very beautiful, etc. And the Emperor, right, is this divine masculine sort of male energy, right, with authority, with all of the things that we can think about in regard to having a dad who's like pretty cool, right? Somebody who is in this regard able to integrate those male attributes into their daily life. What I am getting from this Emperor card is a very stern, disciplinary vibe versus this very light, feathery, fluffy, very feminine, carefree vibe from the Empress. So I feel like there is this mismatched energy between the figure represented as the Emperor and the figure represented as the Empress. And if these cards in this reading act as the male and female counterparts of your parents, then that is a conversation that needs to be had. Because I feel like the repair that has to come from this dynamic is actually about recognizing the damage and hurt that this sort of authoritarian figure in your lives placed on the both of you. Because this Empress character is very much wanting to branch out and develop ideas and be full of bounty and understanding and just like living it up in the forest, you know, chilling, having a gay old time. Whereas this emperor character is really trying to get you to count your P's and Q's, keep your shit together, be a provider, not really step into the emotionality of what it means to be a father, which has really ruined the growth in the relationship between the two of them. Meaning that when you were growing up witnessing the way that these people interacted together, it was almost like codependency, where the feminine energy is very giving and the masculine energy is very taking, but there wasn't a lot of communication about what either one of them needed, and so both of them ended up feeling like their cup was empty because they were both giving, but not necessarily giving the thing that the other person actually needed. It was giving based on assumptions, right? Does that make sense? I say this all the time during my tarot readings, and you're not there to answer because this is a video. So the rebalancing of this cycle is going to be super important when it comes to understanding what you need to do in order to redevelop the relationship with your mother. I'm not sure that there's much or anything, for that matter, that can be done with the father character. I don't know if this person is out of the picture. I don't know if this death card is very literally a death. It usually isn't, right? It's usually about transition and the end of a cycle and the transformation from one stage to the next, which is also really good in regard to this Empress card, because she is so bountiful, so full of life, so giving. And I feel like this cycle is really trying to figure out how to develop a relationship with this woman who at one point in time had a very secure knowledge of who she was as a person, but that light has sort of been dimmed because of how demanding the relationship with the emperor became. And it wasn't always like that, but as things went on and it became more about duty than about love and communication and supporting each other, that role of actual relationships and companionship just disintegrated, and that really informed the way that you are with people, and how that has skewed your ability to connect with people. So in reconnecting with this mother figure, it is going to be largely about forgiveness, because there is a tremendous amount of unlearning and recarving neural pathways and understanding who you are without all of the predetermined nonsense that was watching this relationship between these two people. And this death card could very much be in reference to one version of your personality dying and the other version of your personality becoming a little more, in abundance, a little more forthright. And I say that because generally the rest of this reading is like super nice. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to conflict is this 5 of Swords character, because this is really the place where the relationship between the two of you was literally severed. And when I was looking at these cards, I was like, I don't actually understand why you're fighting. Like, why are you fighting? And it's almost like a blindness. Like, there needs to be an awakening moment, a coming to light moment where this mother character is able to shed light onto the way that this relationship has sort of groomed her into being a very specific way. And that is what, that's what happens in codependency, right? You are grooming yourself to be a specific certain type of way for this person who you think they want you to be. They think you become who you think they want you to be, right? And through those actions, you lose yourself. And from what I recognize in this reading, this mother character used to be this very shining, glittering, gorgeous ray of light person. And that is, of course, what initially attracted this Emperor character, was that situation. And I'm not saying that this father figure was predatory or was out here like on the prowl looking for someone whose light they could dim or looking for someone whose light they could steal. But that is the dynamic that ended up happening because they forgot how to connect to themselves on a personal level when it came to having kids and developing a relationship while having kids, and also maintaining the wealth of the family, and the emotionality of it died, and it became more about business than it did become about connection. So when I look at this 5 of Swords, right, it's very much like literally severing in half whatever connection was there to begin with. And it's like when this broke, that also took it out from you, the person who wants to heal the relationship with the mother, because this is the same sort of disconnect that happened between the mother and father figure, except for it's being now mirrored with the child and the mother, right? So it's like codependency transference. When one version of codependency ended, this other version of codependency began, because now we're at this point where this Empress / mother character can only live in this codependent state, which is why I said there needs to be this sort of awakening, right? And unfortunately, or fortunately, I think that might be the kind of place where you come in. This is where I want to talk about your 9 of Wands. Now, the Rider-Waite deck version is a lot different, right? It's very like dizzying and confusing and like trying to like get your wands in a row after they've all been sort of kaplooied around. Whereas this version is like the wands are in a row and it's leading to a staircase of sort of this moon, aka like your intuition, aka like some sort of awakening, right? And the keywords for this 9 of Wands, right? Resilience, courage, persistence, test of faith, and boundaries, right? And so for this particular reading, for codependency, for mending a relationship, for this dynamic with these people, this is really about persistence and boundaries and resilience, right? when it comes to mending things with a codependent, we have to repair many parts of ourselves as well. Imagine that you yourself also accidentally learned some ways of codependency. And because of that, right, you are now, unfortunately, having to undo some things that you have learned, which means that you and your mother have to have even more strength, persistence, resilience, right? And desire and capacity to know what you want at the core and to set the boundaries in your relationship that mirror what your actual authentic values are, which takes some discovery and understanding of the self and is what eventually will repair the relationship. So it's like, do the two of you want to independently but also at the same time go on the journey up the staircase in order to understand what's at the top where this moon is? Like, that is something that has to be discussed and understood between the two of you, because I get the impression that this father person isn't really around. It's not really y'all, like, whatever happened, like whether it's divorce or separation or death, like they're not in the picture anymore and they're only an imprint now. They're not currently energetically affecting the situation with their literal presence, but the imprint of their presence, which is, depending on who they are, both sometimes easier and harder to deal with, because it's like emotional abuse, even if it's neglect and it's unintentional, like leaves the biggest scars as opposed to actual violence. And so like that's the place where you two are working from, right? I think that on your own, you have already developed a very like financially secure, stable life, where you have had like your monetary needs met, like all the aspects of security as far as like the tangible things of security have been met, right? Like you've got enough money to give and receive, you've got enough wealth, you have the capacity to be generous and charitable, you have that in yourself, and it isn't being overdone, and it's not the only way that you have people in your life, like it is sometimes in the way of codependence, but it's something that is like innate within you. You're a very giving and loving person, and you have worked really hard to develop that aspect of yourself and have that shine through, because you recognize that the truest way to express your authentic self is in a relationship with reciprocity that leads to both tangible satisfaction, as far as like money, a good job, a stable housing unit, the ability to afford your car, like having groceries, like all of those things. But then now you're recognizing that those very tangible aspects of wealth can be moved into the relationship aspects of the health, which is where I feel like I'm seeing the pentacles switch into the cups, right? Where like you have had all of these things align with you, security wise, foundation wise, except for the relationship. So now you have you have this contentment and satisfaction within the literal foundation of things, but the one aspect that you're missing is the relationship aspect, which is where the rest of this comes in for you, right? So we have the Three of Pentacles, which is about, teamwork and learning and understanding. And the team here is really you and your mom, and deciding how you want to roll, and if repairing the relationship is good for you, if it will give you success. If this is something, and I think that this is something that you want, right? More than her. Because there is this longing to reconnect with a woman that you think is still in there. Like you have seen the glimpse of who she was before the codependency of the relationship between this father figure and her took over her life. And I think that you're aware now that understanding what relationships really are for you, which are reciprocal, valuable, boundary driven, appropriate relationships that uplift everyone and give everyone the space to live and be themselves, is what you want to build. And it's a very collaborative, wholesome relationship that you can build once you, again, take that step forward in order to mend it with you, with your mother. Because you have, you have all the security that you need. And I think it's interesting because most of these Pentacles cards, all the Pentacle cards are saying to you, you have the literal security that you need. But the one thing that you're missing is security in your relationship. And that is what I think is really preventing you from feeling this full satisfaction of a quality security. Like it's almost like you go to bed feeling like you're almost fulfilled, and you can't put your finger on why you don't have that complete feeling yet. And healing the dynamic between you and your mother will translate into other relationships. Maybe you're in a position right now where you are searching for love, romantic love, or you are trying to heal a relationship with a friend, or you are trying to find more friends and you're finding it really hard to relate to people, and it's because you don't have that foundation, that secure foundation in relating to people at home. I think that this will tie everything up in a big bow for you once you make the connection in your mind that, hey, if I can fix things with my mother, I can fix things in other areas of my life, because this is where the trouble started. And I forgot to cover this Eight of Wands card, and I really feel like it is that this conversation and this dedicated action to tidy things up in your relationship is going to come on very quickly for you. And again, I know I've said this in some of the other videos, but we are in Mercury retrograde right now, and I feel like it's kind of the time to do this, because you're thinking of things. You're thinking of things right now, it's on your mind, right? As far as communication and understanding. So now could be the perfect time to mend things. Lastly, let's go over your oracle cards. I pulled some from the Terra oracle deck because I wasn't able to get everything I needed for you from the spirit guides, the spirit allies deck. So I have Saraswati and I have Lakshmi. Lakshmi, let's do her first. Her mantra is, abundance can be found everywhere in life. Her journal prompt is, when was the last time I expressed true gratitude? Lakshmi encourages you to look at all the ways that abundance could come to you. Life's riches come in many forms and don't include just monetary wealth. Abundance can look like having a healthy life, feeling loved and appreciated, and obtaining the goals you've set for yourself. No matter where you are in life, Lakshmi calls you to give thanks for everything that you have. Gratitude helps you create awareness and inspires you to appreciate the present moment. Absolutely. Yeah. I suspect there are many things, many wonderful qualities about your mother that you will be able to reminisce on and call in to help you through this and in times of struggle through the process. Because, I mean, it won't be easy, but it will be fulfilling. So Saraswati, the words I speak shape my reality, and her journal prompt is, how can I be more conscious of my thoughts and words? As the goddess associated with speech, Saraswati calls attention to how wonderful our words can be. Our thoughts become our words, and there is magic to be harnessed in both. Spending time being conscious of your thoughts, and when you speak aloud, tuning into the vibration and tone of your expressions. Next time there's something important you want to express, take a few minutes to go within and find the right frequency and vibration before you speak. Know that you are creating your reality through your thoughts, words, and actions. Let Saraswati act as a reassuring reminder that you speak magic into your life. Person, I think that speaks for itself, honestly. So we have the mule with endings. I have the vulture with adversity. I have koi with fortune. And cicadas with rhythm. Okay, so there is specifically a cycle to this that is really, really important. The death card, remember I pulled the death card and I was like, I'm not sure exactly where this fits in, except for that it could be the ending of things. When it comes to repairing relationships and the ability to have a conversation and mending the dynamic between the two of you, this is a cycle that has come up in many lifetimes, presented to you in many different ways, and it is now time to decide whether or not you want to continue to allow this to dictate how it shows up in your life, or if you want to heal the dynamic, therefore healing the multiple lifetimes associated with this wound. I feel like if you're capable, willing, and able to take the time to go past the emotional pain of healing this wound, that you will be living in abundance financially and emotionally in all of your relationships, and that will spill over into many places in your life, allowing you to create the abundance that you desire and the community that you desire, and that you will start feeling less like an outsider because you are now creating a cycle in your life where you are weaving together the life that you desire with the life that you deserve, with the life that you have. Do you know what I mean? I hope that you do. They're not gonna let me get away with not reading what rhythm means. Hold on. All right, they really wanted me to read the cicadas to you. Is your life getting a little deja vu, or are you itching to implement a healthy routine? The cicadas are all about finding rhythm. For 17 years, periodical cicadas brood underground only to emerge in swarms to mate and reproduce on the surface. Ask yourself, am I in flow or am I walking in circles? It's up to you to determine what phase you are in now. If things seem to be all too repetitive and expected, it could be time for something new. Only you can decide whether you need to get up and spin the wheel or patiently wait for your time to emerge. Are you building a foundation beneath the surface, or can you feel yourself stirring, waiting to break through? The synchronous emergence and death of the cicada says the patterns and rhythms involve a combination of elements that you must learn to juggle. While juggling involves throwing and catching, the secret to juggling is not the catching but the throwing. With a practiced throw, you won't need to worry so much about the perfect catch. Be careful. Once you get into a rhythm, it is easy to begin tossing around things you don't need or even care about. What are you juggling in your life? There is a limit to what can be done well at one time, and rhythm is all about timing. Too many things and you won't create the synergy you need. Yet, if you are throwing only one thing in the air and catching it, we wouldn't call that juggling. Approach the task of finding balance between monotony and chaos as an opportunity. The cicadas can arrive when you are doing things in extremes, swinging like a pendulum back and forth. Work to operate in rhythm and moderation. The cicada's life cycle is both quick to start and quick to fizzle out. Don't swing violently, but don't allow yourself to come to a grinding halt. You are encouraged to maintain balance. The wheel won't spin if there's too much weight in one place. Anyone in the world who has started working out and quit can attest to the fact that the results are not permanent. Once you get the wheel turning, don't walk away. I'm sensing that it will take work and dedication, probably more than you'd like, in order to reinvent this relationship between the two of you, but that doesn't mean it won't be worth it. Especially if you want to see the results in other places of your life. And I think that you truly have the capacity to do it, emotionally, intellectually. You just have to commit yourself to doing it and continue to stick with it. Okay. That's all I have for you, pile number 3. If you like this, please subscribe and comment and let me know what you got out of the reading. I would love to hear what you got out of the reading. Please subscribe. I'll be doing way more of these, and I hope to see you there. Okay, bye.